So we've hit a new year and about to hit a second full year of doing whatever you can call this. If anybody cares, my New Year's resolution is simply to work out more. You're obviously not here to hear me talk about New Year's resolutions and myself. You're here for trains, and I thought I'd take this time to look forward into the new year and show off my plans for what I want to cover in 2025. Alright, first, let's get the lame out of the way. I'm going to continue to stick to, or try to stick to, the bi-weekly schedule I tried to maintain for the past year or so. Like most of you, I have a life outside of the internet. I'm a college student. I have a regular job. I'm going to try to adhere to that schedule, but every once in a while I will miss a week, and I will continue to post on my community tab if a video is going to be pushed back or delayed. Stuff will continue to come out on either Friday or Saturday, and I want to try and stick to the shorter time frame and format of the under 15 minutes so that I don't waste all of your time as per usual. Alright, that's out of the way. Let's talk about the fun stuff. The stuff I want to do this year. We'll start with the big one. I tore down the OGW Layout. It was getting really unreliable, and towards the end of its life, it was really just being used as a storage space. I tore everything out. Track, cork, nails, and it was a process. It's all done now, and trains have returned to the table within the same day I tore it out. If you haven't seen that little YouTube short I made, it's the start of an O-gauge layout, and throughout the year I'm going to make progress videos on it. I won't get into too many details yet because I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to make a whole video series covering the build process and the many headaches that are going to come with building this layout. If you're starting to think about a layout, this video series might be helpful so you don't make the mistakes I do. And of course, in O-gauge, I'm going to continue to make content based on the equipment that I find stand out in both good ways and bad ways. If you saw my Hallmark ornament video, you may have noticed a couple of new faces on the roster. A new 726 Berkshire and a Switcher have reared their heads, and I'm so excited to talk about those this year. They are fantastic locomotives. Some other standout locomotives in O-gauge I'd like to talk about this year include a older Lionel conventional Mikado, and I've been itching to debunk some myths about the Lionel 1001 and the Scout line overall. It's a personal guilty pleasure locomotive of mine, and I'm going to be filming all of this on the new layout, so you won't have to stare at carpet and cockpit this entire year. Alright, for the HO people, it's not going anywhere. I really like making videos on my HO stuff, even if it's some of the worst performing videos on my entire YouTube channel. I did not talk about HO much in 2024, mostly because the HO space is pretty saturated and filled with people doing reviews that are better than what I could ever do. I do still want to highlight some of the standout pieces I've got in my collection, mostly older out-of-production equipment that I think is just kind of neat. Stuff like the Stellar Mantua 2662 saddle tank, my Duo Broadway limited steam locomotives, a brass locomotive, and the very, very unusual Tyco Turbo Express from 1988. Weird toy trains, my real claim to anything. I have a couple new ones in mind for this year, but I won't reveal those just yet. I do want to do a more comprehensive look at the Hot Wheels Railroad in the near future, as I now finally have two of the Stow and Go track sets and am able to do a deeper dive. These have always been the most difficult videos to make, as the research side is a real pain in the butt. Uploads of this series will most likely continue to be pretty infrequent, but I think I should make it known that these are my favorite videos to make, and I really like seeing what my audience thinks of these little toys. Alright, the workshop. So, let me get this out of the way first. I did originally intend for this to be a monthly series, and then college and work curb stomped that plan and then threw it into orbit. I didn't have time for model projects, and I just decided it would make more sense to show off a finished project and the build process for those, much like a more conventional workshop video. I have some commission work from friends this year, and I have permission to film some of them, and you're going to see some interesting things this year. So, odds and ends. Weird other stuff. Occasionally, I'll make a video that doesn't really fit in my usual content. Things like the odds and ends series, Q&A, and weird model train opinions are prime examples of some random other content I like making. I have a video about train shows and the experience that comes along with them that's been sitting unfinished for about a year and a half that I actually want to finish this year. Other thing I might do is I might make a couple shorts this year just of trains and various railroads around the area. No commentary, so if you'd like the sound of trains, this might be a good thing for you. And the biggest thing I want to change this year is I want to do a couple of live streams. I've done a couple live Q&As in the past, and I built the Mold King Orient Express on a live stream that was about 10 hours long. That was painful. I'm not going to do that again. However, this time around, I want to do some train-related games this year. I gave up and decided to ask if people really wanted to see that, and there was reasonable interest. So if you're interested in watching a complete idiot play Transport Fever 2, or if you're interested in playing OpenTTD with a bunch of strangers on a public live stream, this may be your chance. There's no schedule for this yet, but I'll make a community post for when it happens. Mainly once I get this whole live streaming thing figured out. If I do decide to make a stream, that'll probably take the slot for the video that would come out in that 2-week period. And that is what I have planned for the year. It's not a whole lot, but it's bold of you to assume I really plan anything, as I usually decide what I do for a video pretty much on the spot. I wrote this on the spot the Monday before this video goes live. Anyway, that's really all I have. I'll stop wasting your time. Until next time, stay unruly.